the old 200 naira notes should remain in circulation till the 10th of April in a broadcast made by President Muhammad Buhari, and that the old 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes cease to be legal tender. Nigerians have definitely been reacting to this. Let's talk this through by speaking with a senior partner at Templars and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Godwin Omoaka. Thank you so much for joining us on the Media News.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Right. What's your reading of this latest development, regardless of the fact that the Supreme Court said that the injunction they actually gave on February the 8th remains, and then the president giving a broadcast and completely a different directive from what the Supreme Court says? What's your reading to this effect?
Okay, so let me begin with the broad political and economic objectives before I talk about the legal aspects to it. I think the Naira redesign is a laudable objective. And I think that's what the president was also trying to communicate today, to ensure we have free and fair elections, to deal with the issues of banditry and kidnapping, and then to ensure the general security and well-being of Nigerians. So from a policy point perspective, I'm okay with the Naira design. But the challenge I have is that the president's speech today is a direct affront on the Supreme Court. Let me be clear. The decision of the Supreme Court saying that all currencies are legal tender is law. It is law. And therefore, it was wrong, in my view, completely wrong, President, to make the statement that he made today. That's a breach and a violation of the Supreme Court decision. There are only two ways the Supreme Court decision can be disobeyed, can be challenged. Either the Supreme Court set aside that decision itself, or through a law passed by the National Assembly, altering the position that the Supreme Court has taken. Unfortunately, that's not what we have seen here. So I think, again, we have seen executive disrespect for the judiciary. We have seen that the federal government has no respect for the rule of law. Otherwise, the president wouldn't have made that announcement. I think the president has been ill-advised, and those who advise him should always let him understand that he should stand on the side of the rule of law. Because he is the president of the country, and he's an embodiment of the law. That broadcast today was really very unfortunate, in my view.
Mm-hmm. Well, so looking at this fallout, we understand that there is separation of powers among the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. Now that we know that the essence of it is for them to, for there to be balance in checks and balances, rather. So how do you think the Supreme Court will go about this, where the president, the executive, is deemed to have gone against the injunction of the Supreme Court? What should be done afterwards?
Well, unfortunately, in our constitutional democracy, the Supreme Court cannot enforce its own orders or judgments. That's just the unfortunate reality. And it's the matter of constitutional high point. So other than probably, and I would not subscribe to that, the Supreme Court putting out a statement through its media team to condemn the president for its decision, for the broadcast today. I don't think that the Supreme Court can do much because, like you have already said, there is a balance of separation of powers. So what you see is that Supreme Court judgments and indeed judgments of all the courts are supposed to be executed by the executive. That's why you have the police who executes the government, the judgments of the Supreme Court and other courts. So there isn't much the Supreme Court can do other than probably issue some statement criticizing the president.
Mr. Omoaka, before I let you go,
but what I was saying to Nigeria.
Right, sorry for for butting in. Before I let you go, the president actually made it known in his broadcast this morning that the intention for the redesign, just like you alluded to it, that is strengthening our economy, enhancing security and blockade of leakages associated with illicit financial flows. But we've seen the bandits, the insurgents, who brandished the new Naira notes in the thickest of the den where they've been. So would you not deem this policy to have begun to fail before it even started?
No, I wouldn't subscribe to that view. I think it's too early in the day. right? Because you see, the bandits may have had the opportunity to get their hands on a few naira notes. But that doesn't mean that the policy has failed. I think so. Because come to think of it, if you kidnap somebody today and you're asking for ₦1 million ransom, you're not going to get it. In the current Nigeria of today, you're not going to get that ransom. The bandits are going to find it difficult to purchase in the same markets because they will also have cash constraints. So over time, we will see that the policy will improve the security situation. And that's why I said at the beginning that I commend the president for the broad, for the overall policy objective. They may have a few naira notes in their hands, the insurgents, but I think in the long run, if the policy is sustained, then I think it will definitely improve the security situations, and the bandits and the insurgents will be on the back foot.
We'll continue to see how these old policy and decisions will definitely pan out.